Last week on Legally Kidnapped.
Good evening. Our top story this week. A New York woman gets busted for filing multiple false reports to the child abuse hotline over several months, prompting multiple investigations against innocent families that proved to be false. In Alabama this week, tough new immigration laws that require schools to check the immigration status of students has kids skipping school for fear of deportation, even prompting some immigrant parents to sign their kids over to others in case they get caught and sent back to Mexico. Arizona has some big changes in store as the governor plans to authorize a hiring spree for new CPS agents, and the Montgomery County attorney suggests moving from a system that helps families to one that prosecutes and snatches more kids instead. In Florida, a private child welfare agency is about to lose their $65 million contract because of 8 dead kids. In Georgia, a judge is upset over the shrinking budget in the juvenile court. 1 in 20 kids from Idaho lives with their grandparents. And Connecticut chickens out and ends surprise home visits by CPS agents. A Michigan judge gives the go-ahead for the state to cut off the welfare benefits of 40,000 people. In Illinois, some legislatures are trying to get Catholic charities back into the foster care business after being cut off over their refusal to house your kids with gay couples. In Kansas, a lawmaker thinks that a policy that gives parents permission to let lawmakers access their records when seeking help with child welfare cases is too lax and open. In Topeka, Kansas, momentarily decriminalizes spousal abuse in order to avert a budget crisis. A child advocate wants to use the results of a new brain research that suggests that the brains of 18-year-olds aren't yet fully developed as an excuse to hold them hostage in foster care until age 21. The Supreme Court of South Dakota rules in favor of grandparents who want to raise their grandkids when they are involved in CPS proceedings. Oklahoma's Big Brothers Big Sisters program loses its federal funding, and Oklahoma's legislators want answers to ongoing failures at the state's Department of Human Services. In India this week, a woman who found an abandoned baby last Saturday is starving herself after finding out that she can't keep him. In Ireland, a broadcaster apologizes to a Catholic priest for falsely accusing him of sexual abuse. And a court in Ireland refuses to send 2 boys back to the USA who were snatched by their mother and taken overseas. New Zealand wants to put more CPS agents in schools to supposedly protect at-risk kids. The Filipino army is detaining kids who they are mislabeling as rebels and child soldiers. And it's infanticide in Ghana this week as a rash of deformed or disabled children are being killed by their parents. In Canada, a judge allows the publication of the name of a baby who was killed in foster care just 6 days after being stolen from her mother. In England this week, UNICEF is criticizing the UK for jailing children over the riots a few weeks back. The UK slashes funding for car allowances for British CPS agents. A couple of elderly foster parents appear in court over a child cruelty charge. British courts are still denying the children their right to speak on their own behalf in child protection proceedings, and British schools will continue to help identify easy targets for social services-related child snatchings. In entertainment news this week, the couple from MTV 16 and Pregnant are allowed to see their kids again under CPS supervision. And U.S. Representative Joe Walsh of Illinois says that his ex-wife is lying about $117,000 in missing child support funds. In New Mexico this week, a foster couple gets busted for shaking a boy so hard that it damaged his brain and cost him his sight. A Pennsylvania woman admits to burning and abusing her adopted daughter. In Florida, a former jail worker gets busted for misusing her position to obtain personal information and make false reports to the child abuse hotline. And a man from Jacksonville gets 45 days in jail for making a false report of child abuse. In Ohio, 2 foster parents who left a kid at a Cleveland Browns game plead not guilty to that crime, calling it all a big misunderstanding. A woman from Tennessee pleads guilty to assault, kidnapping, and not giving her foster kids any food or drink. In North Carolina, a CPS agent gets busted twice in 1 week for an incident at a party at her house, the second time for driving drunk with a kid in the car, which reveals major holes in the agency's hiring process because she had been fired from another agency just a month before being hired to work in this one, and they were clueless as to that fact. And a few South Carolina CPS agents are suspended after a 3-year-old dies in a failure to protect case. In Colorado, a foster father and 5 foster kids die after the van they were driving in smashes into the ass end of an 18-wheeler. The U.S. Supreme Court refuses to hear the case of the same-sex couple who can't get both of their names on the birth certificate of the kid they adopted. An Army dad in Colorado can't get his daughter placed with him instead of having her stay in foster care. And a teenager is missing from a California group home. In New York, the parents who attempted to rescue their 8 kids from the foster care system are being held on $75,000 bail, and their attorney says that they had no other choice since their kids were being abused in foster care. An American kid is being picked on in school because his mother is gay. A school board in Wisconsin is amending the child abuse reporting policy and making school janitors mandated reporters too. A CPS agent from Texas is found dead after receiving threats from a pissed-off parent. And finally tonight, a judge from Texas wants to seal his paternity suit records to shield himself from future embarrassment. For these stories and all the latest dirt on the child protective industry, visit www.legallykidnapped.com. And until next week, this is Baby LK, over and out.